If politics is the platform for the gathering of all sorts, rich, poor, moderate, radical, conservative, and controversial, what you get is fiery competition.
President Akoto, member will show down. Vice President, member will show down. So, Mama chasing me agent. I'm not going to shut them. What do you embassy? What embassy you embassy?
The Kennedy Agyapong story is the perfect one for the different spectrums of politics. Loved by some for his temperament and equally loved by others for his ability to connect to the grassroots and his common man rhetoric. A year ago, the Asindom native and at the Sodor College old boy claimed he did not even want to be president. A few months later, he was throwing his hat into the race, promising to deal with unemployment, create prosperity from tourism, and run an efficient government based on his success in business.
An experienced businessman or entrepreneur, my experiences I'll bring it to bear because I have sat down, carefully analyzed the situations and the challenges of this country. And I know that there are three key areas that if we use that, we can change the fortunes of this country. That is patriotism, honesty, and discipline.
The Fordham University dropout believes that he has the best track record to tackle the most pertinent issues in the country. A self-described hustler, he says he made his fortune off the streets of Germany and United States, where he facilitated the American dream of many through the visa lottery scheme and ran a taxi business. Kennedy Agyapong is a strong advocate for what he calls a common sense approach to governance, pragmatism, and abhors the proverbial book-long outlook to governance that he blames for Ghana's woes. In terms of dealing with unemployment, he has an ally in political scientist Dr. Kwame Asante, who, however, disagrees with his on the theory of how things work.
I consider sometimes some of the things that he says, yes, they are more, basic knowledge and very natural and all that. But he places emphasis on what? Practice, as opposed to a theory. But that one, I have a little disagreement with him, because if you go to Immanuel Kant, who says that theory without practice is empty, but practice without theory is blind.
Kennedy Agyapong shocked his way into second place in August during the superdelegates election. The polls still look good for him. Some say his performance in August accounts in part for Alan Chemating's withdrawal from the race to go solo. Global Info Analytics Musa Dankwa says the polls from his firm looks good for Kennedy, even though he still trails Vice President Dr. Bawumia.
Surprisingly, Kennedy is leading at the moment in Ashanti region. Yes, 39% to 33% in Ashanti region. He's in fact leading in Central region by huge margin, about 59% or so in Central region. I think he'll win Central region.
Kennedy Agyapong has been chastised for his brand of politics, but some say his approach energizes the party's base. And this presidential primary is about the base, about the grassroots of the party. It is also the reason why many experts reckon Kennedy Agyapong will be formidable competition for Vice President Dr. Bawumia. Tugment Opoku, TV3 News, Accra.
Still within the camp of the NPP, flag-bearer aspirant of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Afriyie Akoto, has urged delegates voting in this Saturday's NPP's presidential primary not to be swayed by offers, but vote for him based on his vision for the party and the nation. Addressing the media in Accra to wrap up his campaign, he acknowledged the low morale in the party and promised to ensure unity and even bring back aggrieved persons who have left the party.
Dr. Afriyie Akoto has wrapped up his campaign 3 days to the election after months of touring the country to canvass for votes. He thanked delegates and his team members for a successful campaign, touting his conduct during the campaign.
I have conducted the most issue-based campaign so far. I have been very careful not to offend any member of our party in the course of my campaign. This approach has been followed strictly by my campaign teams around the country, and I'm very grateful to them. With my coming victory, which is almost certain for Saturday, we desperately need unity within our ranks and outside our ranks. if we are to break the 8.
The flag bearer aspirant says the November 4 election is not a make or break issue, but vision.
The current low morale in the party required drastic reforms and urgent introduction of new approaches to give hope to our activists in particular. My vision for the nation is by now well known to all Ghanaians. It is to give priority to agriculture in the allocation of public resources to support both small and large-scale farmers to generate the needed resources to fund our economic development.
He pledged to boost enthusiasm and potentially bring back disgruntled members who have left the party.
Those disenchanted with what is happening in the party to the extent that they've had to leave this party. If I become flag bearer from Saturday, I'm going to invite everybody to come back. In the course of our interaction with the delegates, we have learned a lot about the needs and aspirations of our members on the ground.
He appealed to delegates to give him their vote on Saturday.
My appeal at this stage, late stage it may be, is that you delegates should not be tempted by offers which may provide a one-day relief and leave our party in the sand. Think of our history, our traditions, and past victories, and the great sacrifices of our forefathers, and vote Akoto.
Evelyn Tinkma, TV3 News, Accra.
Spokesperson of the majority MP supporting the Vice President Eko Vincent Asifua says majority MPs who previously supported Alan Kyerematen have switched to vote for Dr. Bawumia in the party's November 4 presidential primary. He spoke to my colleague Komla Kluche.
I don't think that there is any dictionary as far as Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia that you are going to find fair delegates in there, because the delegates are going to be truthful to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. I have had personal discussions with Honorable Sly Tete. In fact, he was in my house on the 20th of October. I remember the day very well. Around 9:30 p.m. to about 11 p.m. And you could see his commitment to the cause of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. That same day, I was with Carlos Ahenkwa in my house. You could also see his commitment to the cause of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And those who were saying that they were for a particular candidate or a certain candidate are now telling me that they are now for your candidate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Because these are people that I also look up to. They are senior colleagues that I share ideas and a lot of things with. But even at the time, they could not convince me why I should not support Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. But now they are telling me that they are now supporting Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So clearly, we may not even get 100% anyway, but I think we are nearing 100% MPs who are supporting Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. At least those that I have spoken to. Yeah, because I think that there was even a statement from Abna Osiasare, who also said that the detour that have been taken by Alan Kyerematen is not something that she supports because she's a true party person.